Hello everybody and welcome to Green Star Trading with me, Tom. All views, opinions and ideas expressed in this video are my own and do not constitute financial or trading advice in any way. Right, welcome to this super brief and quick Bitcoin update. There's only one thing we need to discuss today. Perhaps I was a little remiss by not mentioning it in my previous video, although I did give a rundown a couple of weeks ago and in a recent live stream about this issue. I've been asked by several people, even had emails saying, what happened to your combination count for the way forward, Tom? I've even had people asking me, have you considered this? I've seen other people consider it on YouTube, Tom. This was our alternate count for 6 months. So if we have considered it, and we did in many videos, one after the other, we were probably the first group to consider it long before anybody else. So that's the first thing. So please stop asking me, have I considered it? Yes, I have. Now, why did it fall out of favour? That's what I want to clarify here. Now I've come to a compromise. I will talk you through this idea and I've labelled it second alternate now, so we will revisit it in future. Okay, if it becomes valid. However, let's just start with a quick recap. Super quick recap. Primary, we're looking at alternation on the long term. Flat pattern with a diagonal C that's still forming, and this is a complex correction in the wave 2. Complex combination in the wave 2. Right, alternate sees complex combination in the wave 2, flat in the 4, 5, primary 1, zigzag into 2. That's my primary, that's my alternate. Okay, here's the old alternate after our triangle idea didn't come to fruition, which was our primary, right? Which was, excuse me, that's the invalidation point, which was this. Right, looked like a triangle, but it never materialized into one. And the alternate at the time, which is now labelled second alternate, was this combination count. Flat, zigzag. And that was the alternate for the longest time. Why did this fall out of favour? We'll talk about the minutiae detail here in a bit, because we need to come down to the smaller time frames to see all of that come up, because it's not listed on the longer time frame here. What happened was, after the primary broke down, I went back and had a proper rethink about this whole thing. Had a nice relabeling, even went back much further for the onto the Brave New Coin Index, BLX, which I will probably cover in a future video. But either way, I thought it was time to just review everything. I like to do that when a primary breaks down. And I ended up realising that I'd mislabeled this. I had it as ABC, with a diagonal in the A. It doesn't matter how I swing it, I can't get that to work. So whether I just mismeasured, miscalculated, or was being lazy, which I hope I wasn't being, but whatever happened, it was wrong. I came back and reviewed it, and it doesn't matter how I try to get through this, this is a complex correction. And it's a WXY within a WXY. And what do we have here? Well, a WXY within the Y of another WXY. Two complex corrections at wave 2 and 4 at the same wave degree, no alternation on the long-term time frame at all. That's it. In a nutshell, not good enough. Okay, it's getting so convoluted and stretched at that point that I feel saying complex corrections within complex corrections within complex corrections at the same wave degree with no alternation between the 4 and the 2 is fundamentally undermining the idea of alternation in Elliott wave. So I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying it can't be as probable as a simpler explanation, surely. And that's what made me have the rethink. So I've made the sacrifice of saying we'll keep it as an alternate because I don't want people reminding me of it constantly. Okay, have you considered this? Yes, for many months I have considered it. I'm not getting, I hope you take that as me not getting stroppy. I'm just trying to explain myself clearly as to my thinking as to why it fell out of favour. Now that we've done that, let's look at the different ways of interpreting it and the other issues I have with the count. This alternate idea. I have seen this as free for the longest time because A, it fit my primary idea of it being a triangle, and it does not subdivide nicely as 5. However, this over here is starting to subdivide nicely as 5. It could be free. Why am I happy with it being potentially an extended C? Well, because in my primary count, that would actually increase the severity of our wedge structure. Right, by bringing the limit on the 4 lower and making it actually look even more convincing as a falling wedge. So I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with it fitting into the idea of it being another WXY because it looks like 5 waves now. Okay, so you see the problems we've got here? So let's consider it 535, a zigzag. Okay, we have to kind of do that anyway if we're going to be considering our alternate. We put the zigzag in. Let's just look at the alternate for a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is not a pretty zigzag. Sorry, that is not a pretty impulse. The one's in the wrong place there, Shudley. That's actually a flat. But that's the only way I can explain getting down here within the combination as an A, B, C is a zigzag, while this subdivides as 5 waves. So let me talk you through my issues here. I hope this isn't getting too convoluted, guys. If I've lost you, I'm sorry. It's just the nature of Elliott wave. I'm afraid talking it can be befuddling and complicated at times, so it's just the way it is. Come down to a smaller time frame, we can see all this additional information. So we would need to move that to there. Now if we go, let's measure this. 1 from 2. The wick says groovy, wave freeze there, doesn't matter, and just about long enough here. If we come into line and ignore the wick, okay, we can take the 1, bring it back a little bit to here, and we just overlap enough to get a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th as a diagonal in the 3. Okay, that's the only way I can get it to work with a huge truncation here. I'd rather that than consider this very long wick. It is not a pretty impulse, but it's going to have to do because the way the 3 subdivides like that. It is an impulse, the 3, with a diagonal in the 5th. Okay, so it's not breaking any rules. That's the best I can do. Down into an A, 3 into a B, 5 more down in a C. That's the way I'm going to have to call it. Alright. Now all of this detail here, this fits into our current counts for the alternate and also for the primary as well, for how we get down here in a C, okay, of a larger ABC. But let's just look at it as an impulse for a moment. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC flat 2, 1, 2, diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4 with a multitude of subdivision in an extended 5th, which comes down here. Here's the 5th of the 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Now this section here, you can interpret this however you like at the moment. You could say zigzag into W, X-wave triangle, Y higher in the 4, or you could say, let's delete that for a moment, you could say the X is here. Okay, and you've had a flat pattern, A, B, C. Doesn't look particularly convincing, but fair enough. And then you've got another zigzag here. Right, so the whole thing's dividing as a complex correction again at a wave 4. Fine. It'll tell us what it is when it's done. Right, so I'm not obsessing over that at the moment. I'm trying to get things to fit into the larger time frame. Okay, so let's now sum up very quickly, because I want to keep this video under 10 minutes, where we're at. So let's delete that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Let's turn off this second alternate idea and we'll arrange things in order. So primary count, C wave to unfold lower as 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the C, which will bring down the wave 4 target to make the wedge more severe and enhance the overall look of the falling wedge. This is a flat which alternates, with the complex combination in the 2. Our alternate is that we're using the zigzag here as a correction to a larger wave 1, and we had alternation of the flat to the complex correction at a smaller degree here. Okay. Then we've now got the second alternate, which is the one I failed to mention in the last video. It's the one people have been asking me about. This was, for the longest time, our alternate count. I've explained the long-term issue is it's a complex correction in 4 and a complex correction in 2 with very similar structures. It's not particularly pretty. It subdivides differently in terms of the actual shape of it, but what I mean is we end up with a WXY within a WXY. Okay, twice. Not a fan. If we can subdivide it as a zigzag, it looks better, but it's still a complex correction and a complex correction, and they're both combinations. That seems off to me. Right? That's fundamentally not something you tend to see in Elliott wave. You tend to see alternation, but since it's possible, we'll keep it as a second alternate from now on, and we will cover it in future videos then. So I hope that clarifies things, guys. Yes, I've considered it. I've probably been considering it longer than anyone else, and we've had it on the board for months. I'm sorry that I neglected to mention it, but now you at least understand why I downgraded it, why it's fallen out of favour with me, and the issues I have with the count. So we'll consider a line drawn under that topic now, so we don't need to go back and cover that again. And I hope that's helped clear things up a little bit for you. So let's just leave the chart like that, save it, and we'll call an end to this quick Bitcoin update. If you're new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, smash the like, hit the little bell notification icon to remain informed of future video releases. Feel free to leave us a comment in the comment section below. And as always, huge thank you to my Patreon subscribers. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, there's a link in the description box below. Head over, have a read of the tiers, see if there's anything you're interested in. And if you do want to join up, perhaps wait to the start of the month now so you get maximum value for doing it. And if you're not following me on Twitter yet, there's a link to my Twitter feed also in the description box below. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll be back later in the week. All the best. Bye bye.